Okay, so here's a up-to-date run-through of selling cash secured puts in SLV for your first income stream. So just have a quick look at the SLV chart there. We can see its past year history, and with it currently trading at 16.68, we might be willing to buy some silver at say $16 or 16.5 or 15.5. So we can go into the options and we can see how we can start to collect some income from being willing to buy SLV here. So the first thing to notice across the top is we've got the different choices of expirations, okay? And typically we've found that between about 40 and 50 days in the future provides a reasonable level of income without being so far in the future that it becomes very unpredictable. So we could choose December the 6th or December the 20th. So for this example, I'm going to choose December the 20th. We don't need to worry too much about whether we choose December the 6th or December the 20th. We just choose something around that 40 to 50 day time horizon. So if we look at the strike prices, we can choose 15, 15.5, 16, and so on. So for this example, I'm going to choose the 16 strike price, and I'm going to sell a put. Okay, so we can collect for this in the next 52 days $0.23 per share for taking on the obligation to underwrite or insure the buyer of the contract at $16. So we're taking on the obligation to buy 100 shares per contract at 16 if it goes below that $16 price. If it stays above that by the expiration date in the next 52 days, then we just keep the $0.23 per share. Okay, so just notice that even if we have to buy, we get that discount of 0.23, our actual purchase price becomes 15.77. So we get a further discount, but we collect that 0.23 anyway. So I go into the order and I can choose one contract and collect $23 per contract, or as is typical, depending on how much cash you've got and how much you're willing to buy of SLV, we can increase the number of contracts. So if I take 10 contracts, that's 10 times 100 shares for in terms of the amount of shares that it commands. That's 1,000 shares that I have to be willing to buy. So at a strike price of 16, that's $16,000 that I need to have to be able to meet that obligation. So if we just look at this little button at the bottom right here, if we click this, we can see that we collect $230 for being willing to take on the obligation to buy SLV at our strike price of $16. So I can slide to submit that sell now, confirm yes, and that will go live on the market open when the US market's open. Okay, so I've collected $230 for being willing to take on the obligation to buy SLV at a strike price of $16. Okay, so this is typically how we start to build our first income stream from the capital that we've got. And I don't necessarily want to buy SLV. I mean, I'm happy to take it at 16, but I just really want to keep collecting those income streams and building my money from there. Okay, so that's an up-to-date demo of selling a cash secured put. That's our first trade. That's the first income stream that you start to build. So the next one is we can do this each month, every month, carry on doing that for as long as we want to until we get assigned some shares, and then we start the next stage in the blueprint strategy. Okay, and that's what we'll be going on to in the next lesson. But we want to be able to be comfortable selling cash secured puts and really understand the risks and the obligations involved before we move on to the next stage in the strategy. Okay, drop your comments in the discussion below, and what's that one there? Can't see. Drop your comments below, and we'll get into that discussion. Okay, bye for now.